Good morning, everyone. Welcome again to another live, and again, the third start. I think it was on the wrong feed. I don't know what happened on my phone, so let me just, I know some of you are on both feeds, but the Martin Clinic one is okay. Here we go. I don't know what happened, guys. I mean it. I didn't do anything different than I usually do every morning, but I knew it wasn't right because of the amount of people that were watching. Okay, good morning. Sorry about that. Look at this face. You got a senior citizen here, okay? And I just knew it wasn't right. Okay, so good morning. I'll come afterwards and say hi to you, but what a difference in the numbers. Somehow I have a personal thing that I can do, and then Martin Clinic. So why? I don't know. I have no idea. Okay, let me get into our topic this morning. And there was a study that came out on the microbiome. And it was... They did study of healthy 80-year-old or 90-year-old people, healthy people, like they were in great shape even in their old age. And they compared their microbiome to young people in their 20s. And they had similar healthy microbiome. So isn't that something about, yesterday I was on with Dr. McEwen, who teaches psychology at the University of Tennessee, and she invited me to come and do a class with her yesterday on Zoom. It's amazing that I even got on. Oh. Anyways, we did leaky gut. I gave them an hour of leaky gut. I went into a deep dive on leaky gut and the microbiome because they're in psychology, and it clinical psychology. You have to look at the physical. You have to look not only at their mind and what they're thinking, of course, but the physical implications. One of the biggest ones is your microbiome. It's your bacteria. You got 10 times more bacteria than you have cells. It's 10 to 1. And we knew nothing about bacteria. Go back 40, 50 years. I mean, we knew about but we didn't realize the importance of gut bacteria, especially, but bacteria on your skin, in your fluids, your body fluids, but especially in the gut. You got trillions of... Every time you step on a scale, this is true, by the way. Every time you step on a scale, go -3. Because you got 3 pounds of bacteria there. Doesn't that make you feel better right away? So when you get on a scale, go -3. You got 3 pounds of bacteria. 3 pounds of bacteria are trillions of bacteria. And I've talked to you many times about that invisible war that goes on. Now, let me give you an illustration that I gave to the students yesterday. True story. I have been to Korea, and if you have ever been there, there's what they call a demilitarized zone. And that is the border between North Korea and South Korea. You can actually go there. And there's 2 armies. There's the North Koreans and the South Koreans. And they're both there. Some of the South Korean army is American. And they're on the border and they just look at each other. There's 2 fences two walls. One has the North Korean troops and the other one has South Korean, and they just watch each other and they switch. I don't know how many times a day, I don't know. But I've been there, I saw it. It was kind of fascinating. But that's what happens inside your gut. Between your good bacteria and your bad bacteria, there are two armies that just sort of watch each other. And as long as there's a balance between the two armies, you got good bacteria and bad bacteria, and as long as they're equal, there's no fighting. But a lot of things mess up your good bacteria and cause havoc in your body. And we talked about that yesterday in the class. I showed them that the number one reason that people have less good bacteria, it's the number one reason, is the use of antibiotics. Now again, antibiotics, the greatest discovery of the 20th century, have become the curse of the 21st because they kill the good guys. And when they kill the good guys, they kill some of the bad guys, but they don't wipe them out. You kill the good guys, and the problem is in the microbiome, you get what we call a dysbiosis, meaning it's an imbalance of your bacteria. Now, your bacteria are very important. We use the word homeostasis, meaning balance in the body. You need bacteria. You need, and I've done many a podcast over the years on this, and I'll do many a more, I'm sure. But what happens in Vegas, you've heard that expression, stays in Vegas. But not so with the gut. What happens inside the gut spreads. Leaky gut, leaky lungs. Leaky gut, leaky skin. Leaky gut, leaky sinuses. Leaky gut, leaky liver. Leaky gut, leaky heart. Leaky gut, leaky joints. Did you know that one of the biggest reasons that people get joint pain, the biggest reason is wear and tear or injury, but the other reason is due to their microbiome, their gut. An inflammatory response starts. Okay, so let me just undo this just for another second. When you start losing your friendly bacteria, what are the main reasons? Antibiotic. You take one antibiotic, you wipe out your good bacteria. In 5 days, they're all gone. The army is gone. What do you think happens? Well, you get dysbiosis. What does that mean? A couple of things. One, when you don't have enough friendly bacteria, you have a little lining, a single cell of lining that protects your gut from your blood. It's a barrier. It's like going across the border between Canada and the United States, or United States and Mexico, or whatever. There's a border there. Now, the northern border between Canada and the United States is pretty sealed. The southern border between the United States and Mexico is not as sealed, right? And immigrants from South America, they'll come in where they can get across. Well, that happens in your gut, guys, when you don't have enough friendly bacteria, because you have a single line of what they call epithelial cells. Those little cells are being protected by your friendly bacteria. They make up the gate, and they don't allow anything into your blood that doesn't belong there, like viruses and bacteria. But the worst is yeast, candida, fungus gets into your bloodstream through the microbiome when it is not healthy. Number one reason, antibiotics. Number two, your diet. Sugar. Sugar feeds the wrong army. How's that? Sugar feeds your bad bacteria, and sugar feeds your yeast. Yeast absolutely has to have sugar to survive. So I was teaching the students yesterday about this phenomenon, that as one of the root causes of all disease, anyone that's ever had an autoimmune disease comes from leaky gut. And of course, if your insulin is high, you got leaky gut, you're going to get the double-edged sword of even free radical damage and oxidative damage, and now your cells are being destroyed by something that starts in the gut. Imagine. And Hippocrates said it 2,000 years ago, right? The gut. He said all disease starts in the gut. Well, you know, when I was in school in the 70s, I remember hearing that, and we understood some, but not like we do today. We didn't understand the microbiome like we do today. And the more and more they study these bacteria, the more and more they realize they have their own DNA. It's an organ unto itself. And the importance of keeping your microbiome healthy, not only for aging, but for cancer. Because remember, and there's you know, you don't hear about this much, but you guys are hearing this. When you have a fungal infection that gets into your bloodstream, you see, your blood should be pristine. It's a river that brings you your life. All that should be in your blood are red blood cells, white blood cells, nutrients, micro-sized, your macros, your vitamins, your minerals. They get transported to your cells from your brain to your toes by the river of life, but you don't want pollution in the river. How do you get pollution in the river? When you don't have the barrier, the proper barrier between your gut and your blood. Now, toxins get in, heavy metals can get into your blood, feces can get into your blood. It's all micro-sized. You can't see it. Yeast, fungus. Some oncologists would tell you every cancer is a fungal infection. Every one of them. I don't disagree. I think it's a component, a big component. You're feeding yeast. Don't feed the bears. They're not on your side. A little bit of yeast out of your body, well, that makes bread rise. Whoop. But you put yeast inside your bloodstream, it will go everywhere. It will get into your lungs. It will get into your brain. What are they saying about Parkinson's? Parkinson's, which is like, again, you see, here's how I think. And the ones who've been with me long enough know how I think. But I'm a simple guy. If we have something today that's in like high numbers that we didn't have before, 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago, I always ask the question, why? What happened? Why are we seeing so much more Parkinson's today than when I started practice in the 1970s? Yeast. It's leaky gut. And remember, candida, yeast, fungus, will carry across the blood-brain barrier heavy metals. So when they see Parkinson's, they not only see yeast on the brain, they see heavy metals in the brain. They shouldn't have got in there. But remember, this is important. Your gut has that, remember, the border. Try and go across the border today. Well, they're talking about closing the border, right? Completely. I don't think you can do it because you need, Canada and the U.S., there's so many goods that go both ways. They're not going to do it to essential travel. But you know what it's like have you ever traveled into Canada or into the United States? Let me see your passport. Who are you? And it's amazing today. I've talked to a few people that are, that's their job. They're border guards. And they say, you wouldn't believe in the computer system today. As soon as they put that passport, everything about you comes up. I mean, things you've forgotten, but the computer has, it's unbelievable. In a few seconds, all your information comes up. You see, your microbiome, your border guards in your gut, they got all your information. It's amazing. And they can tell when something's coming near the border. Hey, you're a terrorist. Get out. We're not letting you come near the blood. There's a good barrier there. Isn't that a beautiful thing? Your body already has a self-protective mechanism. When it sees a bad virus, hey, you ain't coming in here. It sees a terrorist bacteria. Hey, you don't come in here. We're not letting you in. But what happens if the border guards are not even there? You take antibiotics, you didn't even think about it. Well, I don't blame you. You got an infection. Of course you're going to take an antibiotic. But what happens? It gets rid of your border guards. And not only in your gut, because you have the same lining between your blood and your brain. You see, your brain is headquarters. And God gave you another barrier, not only between your gut and your blood, but you also have another barrier in your brain. It's called the blood-brain barrier. And it's the same barrier that's in your gut. It's amazing. And it won't let even if garbage got in the blood, it won't let it in the brain because the brain has to be pristine, even more pristine than your blood. It doesn't want any toxins in there. It's headquarters. But guess what? You eliminate the microbiome. You eliminate your friendly bacteria. You feed that yeast army. Not only will the border guards not be there around your brain like they should be, we call it permeability. Garbage will now get into your brain. Thus, Parkinson's, MS. What is MS? What is it? It's an autoimmune disease. It started in the gut. 100%. How come I'm so confident? Because I know. No, but guys, it's not that complicated. So you take antibiotics, I don't blame you, but make sure you take probiotics. Make sure you replace, and listen, please. I like fermented foods, okay? I got no problem with it. But they're not probiotics per se. There's not enough of them. Let me give you an example of yogurt. Oh, Dr. Martin, yogurt, it's got to be good. Nah, it's not that good. Well, especially when it's man-made stuff, okay? You make it homemade yogurt. You get a yogurt making machine and you let the milk, or cream. You make your own yogurt. I got no problem with that. But you're not going to make the gazillions of bacteria that you need. That's why, for example, 150 billion, take our probiotic, 150 billion capsule, one. You know how many yogurts you'd have to eat? 4-ounce yogurts. The number one selling food for breakfast in the morning amongst women. You know how I tease you, ladies? You like chicken and salad? Well, you like yogurt too. And you shouldn't. You would have to eat 16,000 yogurts, 4 ounces, to get the amount of bacteria there is in one probiotic. Folks, you know us. We're always talking about probiotics. You should be on a probiotic. Your children should be on a probiotic. Your dog should be on a probiotic. I mean, everybody should be on a probiotic. It is a foundational, and you can't get that amount from fermented foods. Am I saying they're no good? No, they're good. But you just can't. It's one of the greatest discoveries in medicine has been probiotics. No, really. We don't use them enough. Even for COVID. Even for the virus, we should be, because your immune system, most of your immune system will work better if you have those border guards and you don't allow yeast and you don't allow garbage to come into your bloodstream. That's what creates an enormous amount of inflammation in the body. See, your body will react to the garbage that's in the blood. You don't feel it. You know, Tony Jr. coined it, sickness without fever. It's really important. So you guys get it. You understand it. But remember, what happens in Vegas don't stay in Vegas. It'll spread like wildfire to your joints, to your lungs, to your sinuses, to your brain, your bacteria. You need to replace it on a daily basis, because not only what you eat, even if you're the best eater in the world, that's excellent, by the way. Sugar's the worst thing in the universe. I was telling these students yesterday, look, if you do nothing else, just eliminate your sugar. Learn to read labels. Eliminate sugar as much as you can. It'll help your microbiome. Yeah. So, no, but seriously, guys, I get really excited about it because it's something that you can do for yourself for prevention. I was telling the class yesterday about autism. I'm telling you, I never saw a case of autism until 1970. Well, I didn't even know about it. Honestly, it's an epidemic today. And again, you know my thinking. Okay, when I was in school, there was no autism. If there was, I never heard about it. It certainly wasn't in our textbooks. And then the first time I ever heard about it was 1978. A colleague of mine said he had autistic children. I said, educate me. What are you talking about? I didn't even know what he was saying to me. But I sure do now. Why do we have so much autism today? Leaky gut. Leaky gut, leaky placenta. I'm convinced of it. It's a fungal infection. These little babies are canaries in the coal mine. They're fragile and look, mommy, antibiotics, and they don't replace that good bacteria with probiotics. They get pregnant. A lot of mummies that had autistic children. These are just facts, guys. An antibiotic, again, you can save your life. You can't have an infection that rages. I understand it. It's a great discovery, but it's a double-edged sword. You have to replace that bacteria. You got a bad diet, you're feeding the bears, you're feeding candida, you feed that yeast, it spreads. You better starve it out, and you better fix your bacteria. You take, Advil every day, or, you got a headache. I get it. You got bad pain. I get it. But you're killing your friendly bacteria. Non-steroidal anti-inflammatories. You know what another thing kills your friendly bacteria? Vegetable oils. Those hydrogenated oils that you see in the middle aisles of your grocery store, from peanut butter, not natural, peanut butter, hydrogenated oils that they use to crackers, from ketchup to, they put the hydrogenated oils in there. Terrible stuff. Kills your friendly bacteria. It changes your microbiome. Never mind what high fructose corn syrup does. Oh, I could, man-made stuff. Man-made. Yeast, when it sees high fructose corn syrup, okay, which is all the sugar that's being used, and remember in my book, 92 different names for it, it's all high fructose corn syrup. Don't fool yourself. Oh, this is a good sugar. No, it's not. They're lying pants on fire, the food industry. They get away with it. But not with you guys, because you guys are smart. You don't allow it. Anywho. No, but seriously, guys, this is very, very important. It's foundational. It's foundational. And you need to take care of your microbiome. Very important. Those are some of the things that you can do. Okay. And remember when I started, You take an 80 or a 90-year-old that's in really good shape for that age, and you look at their microbiome, it's like a 20-year-old microbiome. They've got good bacteria, and they have lots of it. And that's just a study that came out in the last few days. Okay. So even your microbiome is anti-aging. Take care of it. Okay. By the way, couple of announcements. Tomorrow will be afternoon session. Our book is sold out, and we got another print coming, but it won't be here for another 3 or 4 weeks. So you can't order it right now. Okay? Thank you for making it the #1 seller. We appreciate that. Next Wednesday, and you'll get an announcement about that, we're going to do a webinar on cortisol. You'll find it fascinating. Tony Jr. and I went over it yesterday, and some of the material that we want to cover. So if you, and you know what? We want to know if you'd like to have it on next Wednesday night at 6 o'clock or 7 p.m. Now, I realize some of you guys are in different time zone, but I'm saying 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock Eastern. Let us know, okay? So maybe you can just give us some feedback in the private group or whatever way you can, just to let us know. By the way, we're excited to tell you that we got our magnesium back. Oh. What a long time. You see, our magnesium is chelated. Okay? It's a citrate, but it's chelated, meaning that it's ready to be absorbed at 100%. It's a very finicky magnesium, hard to get, and especially with COVID, it was almost impossible to get. And guess what? We got it. So look for that, okay? For people have been asking me since March. I know. It was out of our control, believe you me. Okay. Talk to you soon. Love you guys. Let us know if you would like to have the 6 p.m. or 7 p.m. slot next Wednesday for that webinar, okay? Love you guys.